Hello, hello. We'll be getting started pretty soon. Remember, it's not a sponsored video, it's an unsponsored video, but if you haven't checked it out yet, feel free to do so on TikTok, YouTube, or whatever platform. Also, hello, Mike. I see you there. Hello, hello. And welcome all you lovely new people, starting in just about 30 seconds. The only person who's commented about the going live message. The only person who's commented about it. Hello, 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 hello. I hope you know my going live message said that I was kidnapped and I'd only be released if enough people asked me to be released. And only one person even mentioned it. So, some of you haven't asked for me to be released, meaning the kidnapper is keeping me, and I will never get to stream ever again, because I've been kidnapped. Crazy. Crazy. Nobody saw the going live message. 3 people? 3 people out of the 30 I needed. It's not my birthday. Refuse to start that again. Also, don't forget, we did do a post to try to get Gamer Subs attention so that they will, hopefully sponsor me, or at least open up the sponsorship so you know that I can finally get a chance. So we'll see. We'll see if they do. But if you haven't seen it, go at it. Retweet it, repost it, share it, like it, whatever you want. I'd really, really appreciate it. All right, let's turn on some redeems as well. I'm gonna leave off the throwing stuff at me. But I will turn on TTS. I will turn on Nerdy Voice. There we go. Lavaka Moo. How are you? I'm doing amazing. One second, I need to take off this sweater. I'm just way too hot for wearing a sweater.
Lavaka Moo.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Can you wear the femboy outfit again? I refuse.
Gene got kidnapped. Can he wear a femboy outfit? If yes, yippee.
I'm proud of you, Solar. Okay, so. For those of you new to the stream, and for those of you who aren't new, who need a reminder, beginning of every stream, I like to go and congratulate those who came in first, second, and third, and then I like to say hi to every single person who checked in. This may take a little while.
You stole my money. I want my bonk.
What do you mean I stole your money? Bonk is disabled. What bonk? Oh!
Imagine being a red Holstein cow.
Give me a second.
Ma.
Okay, so every once in a while, this is just like so you all get a behind-the-scenes thing. The way the some of the redeems work is that they go through Twitch, right? And they then connect with... Let's see. Give me a second. They connect with VTube Studio, which is what I use. There we go. Okay, it's active now. But every once in a while, it freaks out. It breaks. And so that means I have to go back in and re-enable all of the plugins. So now the bonk and the head pats will work again. Okay, so. Yes, let's go congratulate everybody. There's quite a few of you here, so this might take a little while. You ready? There you go, and hello new people. And a reminder, the reason why we do the check-in is a check-in makes sure that Twitch recognizes you as a viewer and will count you. So if you do the check-in, it helps me out a lot. All right, here we go. Number 1, hello Snowboard. Congratulations on getting second. Hello Silver Fang, thank you for getting first, except also second because you're in second place there. Nuggets, thank you for being in the correct place and the correct number with third. Thank you. Head pats will be working soon. Just give it some time. Eli, Thank you for checking in. Hello, hello. Hello, Meow Kitty Cat. Hello, Silver Fang. Hello, Nelia. Hello, Buttertub. Hello, Dwarf. It's funny that it's always the same people at the start. Hello, Xenix and Kitty Lover and Nap Time. Hello, Alien Woes and Ziggy. Hello, Solar Gamers. Hello, Show Weirdo. Hello, Red Faye and Kira. Hello, Alentia. Hello, Sky the Walrus. Hello, Vanya, you lovely little raccoon. Hello, Kuro. Hello, Tequila. Hello, Kamikaze and Poppy and Moonwatcher. Hello, Kate and JC Jellybean. Hello, Kai and Brisk Deer. Hello, Gangsta Neeks and Fometal Brook. Hello, Hamburger Penguin and Crystal Brook. Hello, Nuggets and Julia and Andeagle. Hello, Galactic Grr. Hello, the Red Moon, also known as, well, you know your own name. Hello, Pink. Hello, Catalina. Hello, Ruby Shipmao. Hello, Calenthia. Hello, Kiana Yoda. Hello, Luck Shiki. Hello, Huntress and Luna Rain and Onyx the Shadow Wolf. Hello, Carmia. Hello, Sakona. Hello, thank you for the hydrate, Sky the Walrus. Cheers. Take a little hydration. Hello, My Chemical Flame. Hello, Yoshihiko. Hello, Embry. And hello, Jibby Jibby Jibbits. Hello, Kiana Rose. Hello, Dumpster, the Trash Fox. Hello, Sunny Sunshine. And Death or Dea, the Balkan. Hello, who TF is Allie? It's you, you're Allie. Hello, Dexy Shay. Hello, Pinky. Hello, Allison and Loki Kiwi. Thank you for the stream streaks. Hello, Wolfie. Hello, 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 Echo Inferno. Hello, Cottage Shay. Hello, Kira. Hello, Poison and Black Silver and Misty. Hello, Discord. And hello, Silverfang. Thank you for the head pats. Hello, Princess. Hiya, Princess. Well, apparently we're doing the rest of this one in the German accent, so let's see where we are. Hello, hello, Star Blossom. Hello, Selena Sinclair. Hello, Macaroni and Cheddar. Hello, Boku's Waifu. Hello, hello, Ocean. Hello, hello, Specky Star. What else do we have here? Hello, Zeri Torana. I cannot pronounce your name. I am so sorry. Hello, Spell. Hello, Julia. Thank you for that. Ooh, thank you so much for the redeem. Hello, Kendra. Hello, Raven's smallest crotch goblin. Wait, what? Okay. Hello, Gnosis. Hello, Sylvia. Hello, Galaxy and Solian. Hello, Nerdy und Pandragon. Und hello, Skelly Boy. Hello, 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 hello. Really? Oh, I've pronounced it a few times. I'm glad I got it right. Well, it's good to see. And hello, 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 everyone. Hello, hello, Pomo! We're just starting up. What is up, Pomo? Hello, everybody. Give a shout out to Pomo. They are lovely ASMR streamers. They are very cool. Go check them out. They are fantastic. I like them a lot. I think they are super, super, super duper cool. And well, you know what we have to do? We have to do this just for the lovely, 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 lovely Raiders. Raiders, are you ready? Are you ready, Raiders? Come here. Come here, 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 come here. Hello, Raiders. Yes. So, we are stuck in this accent right now, but my name is LuckyJene. I'm a gambler, a writer, and a soon-to-be villain, not just because of his voice. And we are going to have to add you for. You're 5. However many you are. I'm bad at counting, but welcome. So yes, enjoy the basement. Nope, you're going to get a little bit more crowded today. How was the stream, Palm? I hope it was absolutely fantastic. Did you say I should shake it, is what you said? You said shake it like a Polaroid picture, right? Right, that's what you said? Shake it like a Polaroid picture? Got you. We can do that. We shake it. Shake it. Shake it. Shake it. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. There you are. You're welcome. Why am I being shook? Because somebody said I should shake it. Don't fall over. Stand on your feet. You're going to step on the other ones. Well. Exactly, you can't throw anything at me. Give us food? Fine. I made musubi today. Now hear me out. You have shaken baby syndrome now, Gene? You're not a baby. You're an adult. You have adult baby shaken syndrome. Okay, so today I made musubi, but I didn't make normal musubi. Oh, I'm such a good doggy. Guess what kind of musubi I made? Guess. I made a Musubi is spam musubi specifically is like kind of like sushi, but it's like spam with rice rolled up in seaweed, but it's like a brick of stuff. It's really good. Anyways, I made Dino Nuggie Musubi. I took Dino Nuggies and rolled it up. So I have a Dino Nuggie Musubi on my desk. It is dense. Because I was like, it was either that or wait to defrost chicken. And you know what? I didn't have time. I did not have time. Oh, guess we're doing this for us. All right, Assassin's Angel, thank you so much for the voice. And thank you for the check-in as well. But Palma, I hope your stream was fantastic, Palma. If you need a raid and run, feel free to do so. And if you want to talk about your stream, please tell me what you do. Was it good? Was it a good stream? I imagine it was. My brain just went south. All right, yeah. So I was either that or have raw chicken. And honestly, I'll take Dino Nuggies over the raw chicken. I might do that next time. I could do like a shredded chicken musubi. I think that'd be really solid, you know? Drink? I ain't got no alcohol. Oh, water. Gotcha. Cheers. In fact, you know what we're drinking today? Is visiting hours over? No, baby. You're welcome in. Come on in. We got G-Sups in here. That's right, chat. GG Energy, made by G-Subs. 100 servings. A delicious flavor. What flavor is this one? I think it's a fruit punch. Yeah, dragon fruit punch. It's absolutely delicious. So remember, if I ever get that code, you better start using it. Oh, there's the head pats. There they is. So, today, we're going to be doing 2 streams in the evening. Now, I know most of the mods ain't going to be able to be there, which is totally fine. Y'all don't got to worry about it. It's going to be a lot later, all right? But, I'm drinking some dragons. I might be. It's going to be a late stream later on. About 2 hours after this stream, I'm going to be doing another stream, doing a little collab with a buddy. We're going to be playing Untitled Goose Game. Yes. It should be fun. But it's all fine. It'll be great. Right now, though, I'm going to be playing a chill game. I'm going to be playing... Yeah, do not ruin your sleep schedule. I'm going to be playing Goblin Cleaner, I think it's called. Yeah, you like a goblin, you clean stuff. That should be fun. Because I've been looking for a new game. to replace. The cleaning game, alright? And so hopefully this goblin cleanup game is going to be able to replace the crime cleaning game. So we have a new ASMR game. Would be so good. Oh, hey! Thank you for the follow. Welcome, Luna Lee. I hope you enjoy your time here. But does that mean I gotta do the goblin voice every once in a while? Don't hit me. Ain't no one hitting me with a stick. How dare you? But yes. The demo was so good. I believe it. I mean, the goblins look super cute. I don't know if we're gonna make a cute goblin or like a handsome goblin. I don't know if I have an option. My name is a nightmare. What? Zeri Toran? Ziaria Tiran. I don't know. Rocco's a stupid rock. Rocco is a stupid rock. Vanya, breathe. But yeah, so I think we might do a little bit of this voice here, just to, to really be the appropriate level of a goblin. Should be fun though. Y'all, all my homies hate Rocco. Why? Why'd your homies hate Rocco? I mean, he's a cutie. He's such a cutie. He's such a little cutie badootie, you know? Oh, I mean, Macaroni, I'm gonna have to refund you because they were the superior beverage until they used AI in an advertisement. They used AI in an advertisement and now I refuse. They're better than Pepsi, but they still are now garbage. And so now we're drinking G-Sups and Mountain Dew. G-Sups and Mountain Dew until Coke recants its AI usage in the advertisement. We did so much work on this. Look how much work we had. You did nothing. Nothing. I do like Coke, though. You want me to? What do you want me to do in a goblin voice? What is it that you want me to do in a goblin voice? Explain. What do you need? What do you want? Call me a nightmare, so just call me Nightmare Nightmare. All right. Nightmare Nightmare Nightmare. Sunkissed is delicious, though. Honestly, watermelon tahine is sounding more and more like something I need. Ah, well, thank you, sweetie. Milk Daddy. Why did I say that like that? Why did I say it like that? I will never live down calling you Milk Daddy in that voice. Okay, never mind. We're just yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I still like Coke, but no, don't clip it. I will come to your house. I will eat your computer in front of you and make you watch. That's right. I eat your computer. And I drink your milkshake. Why are you eating computers? See, spell is why. Spell is why. I knew one person was gonna be like, oh no, my computer is so expensive. That's all you need. I just need to find one person. But definitely Milk Daddy. If you ever need a voice, let me know. Milkmaid Gene Art? No, I don't want to be a milkmaid. I don't want to be a milkmaid. I have somebody draw Gina's. Oh, sorry. No. All right, let's see. I'm the king of Goblin. Goblin D's nuts. There you go. You happy? You happy? You got what you wanted. Okay, so. Lovelies, 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 lovelies. It is time for us to play the game Goblin Cleaner. I don't know if this game's going to be good at all. It might be amazing, it might be awful. But I've just been needing a cleaning game. I need a good cleaning game. And the pressure washer cleaner does not do it for me. But this might do it. This might be all we need to finally have a new cleaning game that I like. I mean, the story that I've read, like in little thingy, thank you for the check-in, is... Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. I'm gonna... It's gone. It's gone. Is it fun? I hope it's fun. Okay. Don't sneeze for me. Don't sneeze for me. How dare you? Don't... Okay, so I really hate that every Miku is canon. So if you draw Miku Gene, it's canon. I don't want to be a canon. Genu, Miku Genu, Miku Genu, Miku Genu. Hatsune Genu. It's Hatsune Genu. There you go. Okay. All right, Goblin game, Goblin D's. So, yeah, we've been looking for a cleaning game, blah, 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 nerd stuff. Let's see what we got. Give me a chance. There it is. All right, game capture. Where's the game? I lost the game. Help! Help! Game capture. There it is. And gather around you, lads and lasses, sit here for a while and hearken to me, mod. Alright, hopefully the game's not too loud. English do be hard. Doobie doobie doo. Goblin cleanup. Alright, here we go. Customization. Oh, hey! Okay. Sorry, I just had monkey brain neuron activate. Body type? Oh. Wait. Okay, we have options. We have options. We could do femboy. We could do femboy.
Maid dress Goblin Jane.
Or you can just be cute lady. I think I just want to be a cute girl. Cute girl. Yes. Sorry, neuron definitely activated. Okay. I'll say like the standard colors. I'm too lazy. We're not gonna go too hardcore with the colors. Hair.
No point in saying or. You know what? Chat votes.
What's chat voting on? Oh. Fine. 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 Okay, chat. Fine. I'll give it to you this time, okay? Just this time. Wait, we're keeping those thighs. You don't have a choice in the matter. Those thighs are staying out, okay? Okay? Mm-hmm.
You can shake me the clothes colors, BT.
Okay, femboy, girl, boy. All right, vote. Vote, vote, vote. Should make it a little bit more green. Yes, a little more green. Hair. Wait, how can it? Haha, yes, pink. What kind of color? Do I want to do like a short? I think what's nicer. Hats. I have no hats. Rude. Pink them up. Wait, we'll do black and red. That's fine. Hello. All right, what do we get? God, you and your femboys. Okay. Okay. There we go. Look at you and your femboys. Okay. We femboy. We have the fem animations. Male voice. Body. Fem voice or male voice? I hope we can unlock more killer. Fine. Fem voice? You all are the worst. What? All right. Okay, here we go. Pick. I want a hat. I need a hat. I want a hat now. How dare they deny me a hat? Woodgie hat would be cute. Ooh, the short hair almost actually is a little bit better. Going more femboy. We can buy change it later. Okay, this is Goblin cleanup. You can hear them singing about it in the background. This is just that one femboy from the fanfic. I'm such a good donkey. There you go. Femme? Okay, we'll do femme. All right. I think we can probably change it later. So, we good? Everybody happy with our femboy? It's either a femboy or just a tom girl. I can't tell which one it is. Okay. Enjoy your eeps. Whoa. Why you move so fast? Wait, whoa. No goblin. No goblin, he's nuts. Sorry. Kiss him and find... you a girl or a boy? Why don't you just kiss me and find out how you feel about it later? Chad, I can never be a femboy. That that face when I'm not, I can't be a femboy. All right, employee handbook. You will start in the main hub where you can gather your friends and choose a dungeon to start cleaning. Okay. 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 All right, you know what? We'll figure it out as we go. I refuse instructions. There's no notes. Twink that moonlights on as a femboy on the weekends. That's fair, that's fair. Well, I'm sorry, Pebble. Well, I'm glad I can make your day better. That is my one goal in life. No, actually, I've quite a few goals in life. One of them is to become a famous streamer. So, I lied. Sorry. Can we pretend that airplanes and night skies like shooting stars? I could really use a wish right now. Who's texting me? Sorry, okay. I like Far Cry's. I really like Far Cry's. My favorite was Far Cry 3. Oh, wait, did we get bits? Hey, thank you for the bits! So my work texted me. Far Cry 3 was the best. No, I did not tell work to gobble my... Then wish upon curdled stone. Huh? Oh, here it is. Okay. So, thank you, Vanya. I'm so glad you... No, so, okay, see, here's the problem. We're gonna talk about Far Cry 3 and why it could have been one of the greatest games of all time, but was slightly disappointing. Hello, Pixie. Sorry, I had to censor your name because it has an X. Okay. So, for those of you who don't know, Far Cry 3 had Vaas. I think his name was Vaas. You know, I think most definitely. And weird. Yeah, he had this really, really cool thing that he did. Right? He would come in at you and be like, do you know what the definition of insanity is? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, kind of thing. He would say something like that. But he would keep doing this. Oh, press 1, 2, 3. Oh, thank you. He would keep doing this repeatedly throughout the game, which was really, really cool. And without spoilers, because I mean, this is obvious, he's not like the final... Oh, hey, Raiders! Sorry. Hi, Raiders. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Raiders 1. Raiders 1! We gotta do our thing. Let me gift you a sub. Oh, you already have a sub. Well, then I'll have to gift a sub to the community later. But hello, 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 hello. I just started. I literally just started. Also, hello, welcome, congratulations on winning. How was your stream? How was your stream, Jazzy? How are your raiders? And they're trapped here forever. Good, I had to do that because I know you know what's gonna happen. Except being trapped. You all look cute in a cage. When'd you stream? Was it good? Was it great? Was it a great game? Stream was good? What'd you do? Tell me faster. Right now. I'm watching you. Do you think this makes people uncomfortable if I just say, hey, what are you doing? And then stare at them and wait for them to talk? Oh, I played some Marvel Rivals and was crashing. That sounds awful. Hey, thank you for the sub. PBJ Sandwich. Thank you. I really appreciate it. W gifted. WWW. I appreciate it. But yes, well, I'm sorry you crashed out playing Marvel Rivals. We're doing Goblin Cleanup. And we're talking about Far Cry 3 of why it was one of the best games of all time. The game broke. Chat, game broke. Oh. Game is fully broken. I fixed it. Okay. Apparently it breaks when alt-tabbing. I learned that now. Yes, I cage you because I need you. No, Far Cry 5 is not better. I think. No, it's not. It's not. And I'll tell you why.
Question, is flavored water still water?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now, gameplay-wise, I would say Far Cry 5 is probably better because it has more stuff you can do, more things you can have. Pretty cool game, right? But Far Cry 3 had a better kind of like story vibe of like you take a rich kid and drop them out in the middle of nowhere. They kind of suffer and have to like grow and progress, and like they talk about like how they suck at things, and that's why I loved it a lot. Like, I mean, like he struggles at the beginning, and you slowly get to develop into this really cool character. Yes. Oh. But anyway, so the reason why it would have been one of the best games, but it was not, was because they had this amazing, like, character that they just did not use for the entire, like, game. They should have used it more. Thank you for the likes, and also thank you for coming by. I appreciate you. Thank you for trusting your viewers with me, and have a good one. Galaxy, you can keep saying that. I'm going to disagree with you. We're not having an argument here. I hope you understand that. I acknowledge what you say, and that's going to be the end of it. Now, I'm talking about Far Cry 3. So, the reason why I like Far Cry 3, and the reason why it could have been a lot better, is just because the latter half of the game. Like, it feels like they gave you some cool stuff, but it really just, like, fell apart near the end. And I wish they had done more with it. I wish they had just taken... I mean, the first half of the game was perfect. The second half of the game... Eh. What is this? What am I doing with this? Oh, we repair things. Oh, fun. Okay. Cool. I mean, up to a point. Because, I mean, everything was built really... Ooh, some poor souls couldn't make it out of these halls, at least in one piece. Feed the mimic those remains, as well as the slime that dies of blood sickness. Are we killing? Wait, we kill the slimes? I don't want to kill the slimes. Yeah, no, but like we watch them until they die of blood sickness. We fill them up with so much blood that they die. Is the game too loud? I keep hearing that ding and it sounds really loud. I'm sorry.
My vision was extremely blurry today, and it still kind of is. I can barely see this game run. Yeah, go get some sleep. Why does alt tabbing break this game?
There we go. Settings. Okay. Audio. Which one was Far Cry 6? I don't think I have. Far Cry 6 was on my list of games to try out. Thank you for the follow, Sky Diva. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Huh? Oh. Curious. Oh yeah, no, I haven't played that one. It looks cool. You want a pet mimic? I would like a pet mimic too. Finished by the punch clock. Punch clock, punch clock, punch clock, punch clock! Vanya, I will figure it out. Don't you worry. I promise. I am appreciative of you telling me about the L-tab thing, though. Okay. Can we go to the Dark Tower now? Or is there more tutorial? Perfect. Okay. That is a lot of levels. Ooh! I'm excited. I am so excited. Thank you for the lurks, Jazzy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because goblins are hot. Goblins are all short stacks. They need to make male goblins hotter. Make male goblins also short stacks. We need hot male goblins. Because all of them look so, like, ratty. They're always like, no, I'm a little goblin guy. I'm just a little goblin, and I'm goblining up all over the place. It's like, no, make him hot. Grab the mimic from behind. Ooh, ooh, baby girl. All right, chat. Who wants to be the mimic? Who wants to be a mimic? Short stacks are hot. Neek said it first. Neeks, you get to be the first one. Every time I see one, I'll name something different. This one's Neeks. All right, let's see. Where are we putting you? Wait, where are you going? Or do I just carry it around with me? All right, fun. You all understand that I just find people very, like, I find a... You list a body type, I probably enjoy it. Like that's just a fact. I like body types. I like bodies. Body yaddy 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 yaddy. You know somebody can make me feel short? I bet you do. I know somebody can make me feel short. It's not the same, but this, Can I be a body stolen? I hurt. I didn't say necessarily healthy people. I said my type is people who do take care of themselves. And healthy is different on body types. You know, all sorts of body types that are healthy. How tall am I? I am 6'4". Spell real. R-E-E-L. Like Grammy winner Megan Thee Stallion. 6'4". 6 foot 4 inches. Chat, this game isn't bad, but If I had a dream, what do I dream about? I don't know. Getting chased by, knives. It isn't perfect. And the other game nailed it. Crime Scene Cleaner absolutely nailed it with the amount of, like, what I want. Because this one, I'm just cleaning up, like, splotches of blood and stuff. I like when it is, like, a pool of blood and you clean up portions of it. That feels nice, you know? He walked on his toes. Fancy version of Viscera cleanup, but yeah. Because honestly, like, I don't know, Crime Scene Cleaner was perfect. Crime Scene Cleaner was perfect. I hate that it was so good. I hate that it was so good. Because it makes everything else not as good in comparison. Welcome, Demon Queen. Okay, let's light all the torches. Huh? Why'd I die? Why'd I die? Okay, you know, apparently we gotta start over because I failed one of the things, so... we're starting over. Alright. I guess I overcharged the torch. Yeah, I guess that's what happened. Alright, here we go again. You have the personality of a tree? We go, we won't. Huh? This is different. Wait. Is this how we started last time? I don't remember this. Am I that? Do I just like zone out when I talk to you all that like I just am not paying attention? That's crazy. Okay. There we go. You're so charming. It's true. Y'all are just too charming. Stop it. Stop being so charming. Be less charming. Come on. Yeah. Okay, now please be a little bit charming. I've gotten good at controls at this game. Huh? Get $1 million, what would you get with it? Nothing. Cat? Cat. Anything for the follow. Oh. It wouldn't work. I tried. Game won't let me feed it, but welcome to the menagerie. Welcome to the menagerie. So what I do like about this a lot, I do like the way they move the furniture, okay? Like actually lifting up the furniture and moving it, this feels nicer than the other one where like you had to just click on it and then like let it load. Well, don't trust me around a mimic in a cat. I wanted to see if it would work. Can't blame me for that. What if it didn't work? And it didn't, so, you know. Live and learn. Evil teen? It's not evil. It's not evil. What's evil? clean up the blood off there. Honeybee, go get some sleep, get some rest. You need to take care of your health. Yeah, technically. What do you want, kitty cat? What do you want? Yes? Okay. Homie. And... One torch lit, two torch lit. And wasn't there a third one? Am I missing a third one? Oh, blood splatter. Looks like we're good. Okay. Kitty wants attention. Chat, why are you in this game? How'd you get in this game? Explain. Am I crazy? Meanwhile, I'm back in the void. Oh, I figure I can open it. I'll figure it out eventually. Are you taking my torches? What'd I do to them? No. Have a nice meal or something? Not much. Oh, sorry. If I got $1 million, I would just live, honestly. I would live happily. See, I'm out of power. I want to kill myself, so,
Just saying he, Jane. But I'm gonna go. So, Saya chat. I'll watch the stream tomorrow.
Okay, bye. Uh-huh. Okay. 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 Let me see. Well, I don't have any more magic. If I use any more magic, it's gonna kill me. Apparently. I work in IT. That cat is... I'm going to feed that cat to this thing. I hope you all know that. It is going to happen. If I can figure out a way to feed the cat to this, I will. Because he's turning off my torches. Wait a second. Where's the cat? Where'd the cat go? Come here, kitty. Come here, kitty. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Go on, kitty. Where'd the cat go? Really? Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Kitty's gone. He left. How could that cat? I have an idea. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Come on, I know you're there. I know you're gonna turn off the light immediately because you suck. No, you already came inside. I could hear him meowing. I hear it. Where are you? Come on. Come turn off the candle. I know you want to. I hear you. Aha. Aha ha 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 ha. 8 p.m. Don't move. Stay. Okay. I thought I was gonna kill the cat. Okay. All right. Perfect. I'm gonna put you here for now. Okay. Meow, meow, meow. Marry, kill, and... Oh. Probably anybody. I don't have a really preference of who I'd play marry, kill with. Where's this chair go? Anyways, so why do you wish you were a cat? Why do you want to be a cat? Okay. Anyways, this game's not bad. I think it's interesting. I wish more games did the blood physics like that other game, like Crime Scene Cleaner, because it was just so satisfying to have that kind of, you know, in between. Now what's it called? The pummel. Yes, hi, Pink. Don't come in here and immediately be like, I want to cause mischief. I want to do crime. Really? It's the first thing you think is, how can I do this? How can I cause problems? Rude. Rude. Okay, we're just gonna sneak through this. There we go. Bumbling. Okay, there we go. Perfect. I don't know. Anyone on you? You ask it. You just want to ask me questions. Is there a specific thing you're looking to have answered? Because you seem just very intent on asking random questions, which I'm fine with. Just curious. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I don't think I'm feeling this game. I don't think I'm feeling this. I think this might be fun with like other people, maybe. But I don't think I'm feeling this. Which is very disappointing. Because it's like so close. It's so close. But it's taken away all the satisfaction out of it. I mean, like, when I was playing the Crime Scene Cleaner game, like, I gotta see the blood being slowly moved away, and my actions seem to do stuff. I'm not big on playing it with other people, usually. But it might be fun with other people. I mean, genuinely, like it's so close. But, like, it's just press button, wait for a thing to happen. Instead of, you know, actually picking up blood in tiny spaces. That is fun. That feels like actual cleaning. And I guess like the closest we would get would be, you know, the power washer simulator, but again, it's just all about, you know, gooping up the blood. Yeah. Yeah. If Crime Scene Cleaner had just been longer, it would have been perfect. Or like have a mod set up, let people make room. Like just let people, you know. No, but I don't like Power Wash Simulator. I don't like Power Wash Simulator. I've played it before because it's just like so slow. You have to do like individual cleaning of everything. You know what we're gonna play? Waterpark Simulator. That one was fun. I enjoyed playing that. Yes, we'll do Waterpark Sim. So I don't like hard work. Like that's I don't. An in-between point. An in-between point. There is. Where there's like, it was just like just enough of both. Oh well. Oh well. No, just disappointing because the people who published this one also published Dredge, and Dredge was an amazing game. But I guess it's a publisher, not the company itself. I mean, for what it was trying to do, it wasn't bad. I liked this for cleanup. I've seen people play this for cleanup. Maybe we'll do Dave the Diver at some point. I think Dave the Diver looks like it'd be a lot of fun. Dave the Diver looks like it'd be a lot of fun, actually. But I might be wrong. Maybe I hate it. It's on my list. It's on my list of games. One day. But meanwhile, I need to wait for this Waterpark Simulator update. There we go. And we'll play it. I guess this is why there's only like 14 other people watching this game right now. Octodad is interesting. That game's a lot though. I don't know if I'd be able to even talk to people while we played it. All right. House Flipper I could see doing. House Flipper I could see doing. I haven't tried it, but I feel like that one's right on the edge as well. Okay. Let's see. Wait, where is it? Where is it? Where's the Twitch integration? Bye, JC. Okay. All right. Remember, you can do exclamation point visit or exclamation point hire me, and it will allow you to join. I forgot how awful this place was. Oh no. Oh, this place is so bad. Oh, it's gonna take forever. Okay, you know what? Maybe we'll just focus on cleaning this place up for right now. So bad. I mean, I can't believe we did all this. I mean, I did all this. Actually, no, chat, why did you do this? Why did you do this? Why did you make my park so messy? I can't believe you do this. That's awful. You're gonna tickle me. Crazy. Wild statement. I like cleaning up. Valid. Meow is why. Meow is valid as well. Let me actually change the game to, there you go. I wish we had enough staff. Probably Princess, honestly. Princess gifted the most subs recently, which I do very much appreciated. I must have had some gifted subs recently, so it was very recently. It might be those. Okay. See, this I like. I like this a lot. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's different about this versus the other one. Don't pee in my pool. Please don't pee in my pool. Yes, they are a bunch of cuties. All the cuties are very incredible. They're very, very, very lovely. And I appreciate them so much. Yeah, you're right. That's what it is, PBJ. That's exact. And you're the one who gifted the sub. Thank you, PB, for the subs, by the way. You are cute in nap time. Yeah, and I feel like, I guess because there's also, like, more stuff that you're doing instead of just, like, just mop and just pick up. It just feels more like something. Pebbles is pretty. I believe it. Pebbles is pretty. God, so... I don't know if I want to make this my morning game. Maybe mop poop. Wait, that was poop? What if I made 2 parks? I make an ASMR park and I make my chaos park. Oh, no, you do exclamation, you do the exclamation point visit. But you only visit when the park's actually running. The park's not running yet. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. You'll see. Hire me! Exclamation point, hire me. Aw, poo. God, see, this is it. This is it. Yes. Do you see how much? Do you see how happy I am right now? How much more energy I have right now, which I hate. I like the Goblin game that has such almost stuff, but this is the Chaos Park. I think this is the ASMR park. What do you think? Does this feel ASMR to you? Well, to be fair, I bought this part of the park recently. It's exclamation point visit. It goes in. Exclamation point visit, and then you do your gender, or whatever gender you want the character to be. I lost the bag. It wasn't full, I thought it was. You see the... Okay. Oh no. Okay, half the park is done. I really should have hired a janitor, but you know. Let's just get all the trash. This is what happens when I don't care for the park during the during the day. I was too busy trying to trap everybody. I wish I could. I wish I could. If I could just make money up here, trust me, all of you would be the wealthiest people in the world. Because that's because I'd be bribe people to watch me. No, I'm kidding. No. I just like to make sure y'all are okay. Bribe you. If I ever have enough money. You do? Oh. It's very cute. Is this chair just ugly all the time? This chair's just ugly all the time. Alright, what was the button to do the, build. Okay. You know what? I think it's time that we have a makeover. Are we open? We're not open yet. Don't steal my mop. We're getting new chairs. I'm one of the best? Aww. What do you mean one of the best? Where am I on the best levels? I should have cleaned this park last time we were playing this game. I just kind of let things get messy. I'm about a 4 on the best. Can I at least be like a 3? Can I kill one of them? I mean, what? Oh yeah, I'm so ASMR. Give me a second. All right, chat, and we're gonna be walking our way through here, picking up all the trash. Do you know what's funny? Back in the day, when I used to be a flesh tuber, right? I used to have an ASMR redeem because people thought, like, the people that watched my streams hated ASMR so much at the time. I only had like 5 people watching me, so it is what it is. That they would cringe at the at the mention of like me doing any ASMR. It would make them like upset. And I think it's funny now people come to me for ASMR. I know, flesh tuber. God, are you thinking about that flesh tube? Okay, I think if I clean up all the puddles and trash, I can clean everything else while the park is running. It should be fine. Yeah. This is why you're number 4. You know what? Valid. Very, very valid. Oh, the things I say. I mean, heck, Porcelain Maid is definitely probably... I forgot about the lemonade stand! Oh, the vision was I was trying to get people trapped and fall into water. I thought it was funny. The vision was my hatred for the people who came by. I tried to lock them for the longest time. I tried to get them stuck in the park, and they won't let me do it. The game is so mean. And you know what? I thought I was playing this game like Let's Game Out would play it. I watched Let's Game Out play it just a little bit, and he didn't put anything in the park. He just opened it, and I'm like, oh. Let's go get more lemons and hot dogs. Alright. Don't hit me. Hot dogs. Yeah, Let's Game It Out likes to break the game, and I thought I was like, well, I'm gonna make this like as horrible as possible. And he was just like, I'm not even gonna play the game. Like, damn. I didn't see that was even a potential vision. Woo! Lemon. 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 Don't make me listen to the band Lem. I'll listen to the band. Ah, evil. Die. Oh, it's Butter. Hey, Butter. All right, who else do we have? There's Pink. Hi, Pink. I should actually be doing stuff in here. Bye, Galaxy. Because you're evil. You have the evil symbol. I have to kick you out. Legal requirement. Welsh the better queen, well, she. There we go. That water does not look nice. There we go. Game's a little bit loud. 1 second. Game volume good now? Evil gang, evil gang, evil gang. Hi, wow, 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 what is with you in this? Who peed in the pool immediately? The pool was open for 3 seconds. Who immediately went in like, pee-pee time. You have bladder issues? Don't pee-pee in my pool. Hey, it's nap time. Come on, Nuggets, you got this. Found. Oh, I forgot it's ink. Hi, ink. What is now Moonflower? Girlie, that's not how you use the. Okay, it's fine. Snowborn, what are you doing? What are you doing back here? Why are you like this? Why y'all choosing like the? How are you all like not actually on the? It's whatever. It's whatever. Ow! You can work for me. That's fair. You. Oh, there's evil man. Evil, evil, evil. Ah. Oh, he's not evil. He was just stuck. Oh, well, whatever. Let's do some research. All right, I want to research having more people. What do I need for more people? Let's see. Cashier. What was that? Oh. Why are you drowning? Wait. Where's the life? Where's the life preserver? I got you. Ruby. Well, Ruby, congrats. You drowned. Thank you. Wow, wow. Okay. Oh, what are they doing back in the pool? There we go. Onyx, what are you doing? Stop it. Who peed in the pool again? Why do you all keep peeing in pools? Just like, can you not? I can't get to it. All right, there we go. Every time. All right, what do we have here? We have shiny, we have nap time, looking lovely. Ruby, Spell, Moon, Melvin. Who's this? I'm gonna clean this while you're on it, okay? Ooh, trash. Yay! Pick up some trash. Oh, Pink's on. Okay, Pink's on break. That's fine. Why are you all so terrified? Get in the water. Stop being nerds. Oh, jeez. There we go. I'm definitely rebuilding this park. It is too. Stop slipping in the water. Come on! I'm cleaning. This is your fault. Oh, because if they get scared of being on the diving boards, you push them in. Well, she. Homie. Yeah, assault my senses. Guess waited too long. What do you mean they waited too long? For lemonade. Who's buying lemonade? Oh, my bad. What do you want? You want what? I want lemon and ice. Okay, cup. Lemon, ice. All right, here you go. Apparently they didn't want that. I regret that. Pee again? What do you want? Lemon. Okay. Drink. Good. Y'all, there's no water in the pool. What do you... There's no water in the pool! There's no water in the pool! Where are you coming from? Stop diving into a waterless pool! Yeah, we should do this for an ASMR stream. What do you think? You know what? No lemonade anymore. No one's getting lemonade anymore. I'm rebuilding this park. Pink! People! Yeah, 9? Yes, exclamation point. Visit allows you to visit. Okay, I'm rebuilding this. I'm changing everything in this park. It needs to be functional. Oh my god, stop drowning. You're so dramatic. Okay. Hire me, but I don't have any positions to hire yet. Hire me will only wait once I get another slot to hire somebody. I'd explain it. Okay. Yeah, because currently I only can have 2 employees, and my ticket counter is no longer working. Move! Vanya! What's up, Vanya? What do you want? 6 hours, adult, slide pass. Got you. Hey, it's Full Metal. What's up, Full Metal Brookie? What do you want? Teen pass, 4 hours, slide pass. Got it. All right, people. Flyer. Oh, crap. All right, what do you want? Why are you leaving? Come back! Butter, why are you always evil? Oh, we got this. Okay, dumpster, what do you want? Adult pass? Slide pass, 4 hours, perfect. I'd hire more people if I could. Oh, what do you want? Have your hot dog. Ugh, I don't want to. Okay, fine. Evil, evil, evil. Yes! Yeah, I'm gonna move the lemonade stand. We're gonna make a food court. I have an idea. We're gonna make a food court. We're gonna make a lounge area. Why are they panicking? Hey! All right, take a flyer. 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 Don't hit me. We got this. Okay, perfect. Yeah, you want to enjoy the park without paying. That's what you want to do. Okay, what do you want? Fine. Eat. Okay, so let me think about this. When parks do food courts, they're not at the beginning, are they? Oh, sweet. Okay. They're usually... I just get hit by a car. I can't get up. Hey, we'll go test it out. Where is it? Well, the food court needs to be pretty deep into the park, right? Give me a kiss! Oh, he took my mop. Okay. So we need to have an intro space for the people to go into, right? Then we want to have some water parks with some lounging chairs around it. Were you waiting for Eliminate? The park's closed. We'll do a food court further back into it. So, you know, once you eat food, you kind of have to go back through the park again. Okay. Okay. We need a shower area and a toilet area. So do some toilets by the food places. Okay. I think I got this. But first I need to go to sleep. Okay. We need to unlock floor research. So here we go. Yeah, it's kind of goofy that I just sleep outside of it. Uh-huh. Spray can. Oh, I could use a vendor. No, let's not get vendors. Attraction. Modern pools is fine. Attraction decorations, don't really need that. Modern slides, don't really need that yet. I could use a vending machine. I think a vending machine might be nice. I just can't hire more staff yet, can I? I just need to hit the next level. We're not, no Big Macs. Big Macs are the worst. You know this, Big Macs are the worst. Big Macs are the absolute worst. Where is floor? Or is this floor? Okay. We ready? Whoppers are okay. We're starting over. Can I sell these? Or I have to destroy them, don't I? Yep, okay, we're starting over. Lamington. I like the BK Stackers, the only burger I really like at the Burger King. I don't like... In-N-Out's okay. I'm not fan... Oh, I love the Baconator. Baconator's a good sandwich. I'm not a big fan of the grill marks on Whoppers. Because they feel like they're flavored with, like, artificial smoke, you know? But I love a Baconator. Whataburger's okay. A&W. A&W has got to be my favorite burger place, like a fast food burger. But I prefer sandwiches in general over burgers. But A&W has got to be my favorite burger place. When it comes to fast food. Wendy's is a close second to mine. A&W? I don't know what A&W stands for. Probably somebody's name. There's not many of them. They're primarily in Canada and a few places in the US. They kind of died out. I'm pretty sure that's not it, Vanya. It's just a hypothetical, but probably not. Speaking G. Oh, shoot. I just remembered something. Come on. Here we go. All right, sorry. Just got a stranger to go camping. Oh man, I've been feeling camping. Do I live in Canada? I do not. I live in Colorado. That's why there's legal weed here. I've been feeling camping lately. Like, I just wanted to go camping, but it's already way too cold for it. I could go up in the mountains. Oh no, so A&W used to be a competitor of McDonald's, but one of their big ad campaigns failed, and it was the third pound burger. Okay? Now, lovely voidlings, I'm going to run this by you. You ready for this? You have two burgers next to each other. One is a quarter pound, one is a third pound. Which one weighs more? Okay, cool. The average American did not know this. Well, so here's what happened. It was a two-step thing. So the A&W third pound burger was also cheaper than the quarter pounder. So people were like, "Oh, it's a cheaper burger, so it must also be smaller. So the third pound burger is smaller." If they had charged slightly more for it, like if they had charged the same price as the quarter pounder, maybe a tiny bit more, people would have believed it. And people would probably made the connection easier, I think. But because it was cheaper, they're like, oh, it's got to be a smaller knockoff of the quarter pounder. Because I think some of the people don't even realize that the quarter pounder is not, it's just its name, it's its size. Oh yeah, it had better toppings, it was better everything. But the marketing just failed it. And so, yeah. Pounding. Pounding the measurement sounds bad. I know. This is kind of satisfying, honestly. Go get one. Go get one, Vixie. Oh man, I love that emote. I need to get some cool animated emotes. But we're waiting because I'm about to pay $500 for model art, and then it's going to be another $500 when it's done, and then I gotta wait for the rigging, and then we want to get the 3D model. You can cream my work anyway. Oh, they're very nice. That's all my emotes are my old model too. Gaming shouldn't be your job. What should be my job then? Sorry. I apologize. Milk Daddy. That's awful. Yard work for free. Honestly, have you ever seen those videos where somebody goes and like, I cleaned this guy's yard for free? But like, he's really doing it for the views, which is fine. I don't like, I appreciate the hustle, and people are getting, you know, free yard work, so it's sick. I feel that. I feel like I could do that. Let me do free yard work for you, but I get to live stream it. Yeah, definitely send it by me. I would appreciate that. Don't forget, we do have a Discord. If you are on iPhone, you will have to enable 18+ servers, because my server is 18+, mostly just because I am an adult and I don't want to, you know, be in any weird situations. Oh. Yeah. Thank you, Vanya. I appreciate it. Voice acting. Voice acting is also something I want to do. I've done a little voice acting. I'm going to be in a trailer for a game soon. Darkenstein. I'm going to be in the trailer for Darkenstein. It's going to be interesting. Crotch Goblins Be Gone. Crotch Goblins Be Gone. Oh man, Vanya, you're doing work. I mean, it's unpaid, but you know, I've been in one game, and we're going to be in one trailer. So there've been 2 voice acting gigs I've done in my entire life. Yeah, but then I'd have to put more effort into it right now. Honestly, I'm just focusing on the streaming and content creation. We'll see if the TikTok goes well today. We're trying to, you know, attract the attention of gamer subs. Hopefully. So once we get the streaming going, thank you, I appreciate it. Once we get all the streaming going and we get partnered, then I can do more of the voice acting work. Whoa. All right. How does this work? Oh. I guess we'll just make everything the same right now. Can I do a different stone? Is this what this is? Okay, Yay! I'm glad. Okay. Chat, we need some colors. So I want to color the areas based on what is in them, okay? Just to make it a little bit easier to keep track of. So we need a color for the pool area. We need a color for the dining area. Color for the toilet area. And a color for lounging. So blue for pool? Blue for pool seems legit. Let's do blue for pool. And I like this. Ooh, we should probably have like a uniform stone like this for the pool area. And we can do the craggly rock in other areas. Oh, sick. I'm glad. What did I trip on? What did I trip? What was that? Just existing, apparently? Okay. All right. Blue. Brown food, yellow restroom. That seems legit, yeah. Ooh, that's a little bit too blue. Okay, what about pool right? Okay, so we'll do blue, like, right where the pool area is gonna be. And I want to frame it in, like, white. Do you have, like, a white or something? Yeah. Have some spray paint or something? What was that about? You deem something? Oh, let me take a look. All right, guess we're gonna do that Southern voice for a little while. Here you are, lovelies. There we are. Red? Oh yeah, you're right. We should do, okay, we'll do red for the food area because it does psychologically increase hunger. We'll do red and yellow. How about that? We'll do red and yellow for that area. And then we'll do... We want it to look clean where there is, you know, toilets. So, what are we gonna do for that? Moisten that mouth. Cheers. I don't really like that blue. Maybe do a little bit of a darker blue. Yeah, that'll do. Wow, gray. Milk tray? I'm not drinking milk tray. Tan for toilets so they can't see the poop colors. All right, perfect. That looks pretty decent. I'm gonna put the dining area. Ah! I'm gonna put the dining area back here somewhere. So we're gonna do like do some craggly rock. We got this kind of tan. I don't know how I feel about that. And we got this red. What if we do a checker pattern? You know what? Let's go with it. I think it's gonna be goofy. And we'll border it, you said, and border it in white in between spaces? Yeah, that's the best we can do right now. So we'll go, nyeh, nyeh, nyeh. Yeah, we're slowly making it work. All right. Do bathroom back here or something. So we'll need some bathrooms over here. And we'll probably need a bathroom, like, right in between. Oh, a shower area. All right. So they shower before they get in. We'll make them shower over here. Over here's gonna be fine. Showers, and welcome to bed. Congratulations on making it to bed. I'm proud of you. All right, that'll work. What color do we want to do for the bathrooms? Was it brown or what were we doing? Go try this one. I think we'll do more tile because it's going to be easier to clean, hypothetically. Oh, full yellow? Oh, we're doing yellow over there. I'll do this for now. Do some bathrooms over here. Or was this the lounge? I don't know. We'll figure it out eventually. Just going to finish coloring in some spaces that we have. It looking a little nicer. That's fair, that's fair, that's fair. Okay. Showers here. Bathrooms there. I did. Bathrooms here. I guess the lounge area is going to be in between. We don't want people walking through a lounge, I guess. I don't know. Maybe we'll put lounge. Okay, we'll put lounge spaces here on the white border for now. Yeah. That's fair, that's fair. Thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, hey, congrats. Apparently it's not working properly, but hey, enjoy your free sub. I have said I will ban you if you don't take care of yourselves. All right, here we go. First off, we need some pools. Got a little splash pool. That's going to be kind of cute. And we want them to be able to come out of easy, so we'll have like a single walkway down the center, all right? And we'll do more of a diving style pool. Oh, wait. You know what? I'm not sure about this. No, don't build it already. Ah, well. Guess that's happening. Pink was like, nah, it's happening. That's where we're building it. Deal with it. Okay. Big old place. Work. Of course it comes down. You're fine. Don't you worry. Okay. We need some basic lounges. The lounges we're gonna put in the white areas for now. Hey, thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the menagerie. I really appreciate it. Am I still doing Southern? Alright, we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4. Do 5, 6. Do we have any sort of decorations I can do here? Yeah. Yeah, it's an okay game, but like, yeah, it just didn't hit the vibe for me. Wasn't what I was looking for. Put some park benches here. Little bench over here. Where do I want to put a bench? There we go. I really don't think I want people like trying to go. I don't know if I want them to go between there. If I just do something like that. That way they stick to the outside. I'm gonna try this. We'll see if it works. I doubt it will. Little planter box. Okay. Waiting pool. Where is it? One of those. Do one here. And let's do some diving boards. There we go. Okay. Nice. Do a couple of vending machines. You know, we'll have them facing. There. Nice little lemonade stand. And hot dog stand. Amazing. Okay. Now. Huh? Oh. Ah. Basic trash can. Do one here. One here. 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 Ah! Thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here. Here. Do one. We'll do a few over here. There. There. One there. 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 One right here. I'm out of money. Oh, we're out of money. Well. Guess we're gonna have to wait. I'm broke. I'm broke. No. Oh, we're gonna repair everything. We're gonna build everything. Cheers. I love eating myself like this. Okay. Ah, hello, Rocks. Only poof to see still a guy? Oh, well, hi. I'm glad you're here. We have no toilets, by the way. We have no toilets and no showers. We have no toilets and no showers. Luckily, I can sell them food, though, so, you know. I made places to buy food. I put plenty of trash cans. At least I have trash cans. Yeah, hopefully they'll immediately spend a bunch of money at my new vending machines. You know what? I should put one vending machine here, but I should also put one vending machine, like, back here. That's not a vending machine, that's the hot dog stand. Okay, maybe back here? Okay, wait. I got this. You, trash can. There, perfect. Vending machine. Aha. There we go, perfect. All right. It might be a little crooked. I built 2 hot dog stands. I didn't build a single lemonade stand. Okay, well. 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 You know, it's fine. It's fine. All of this is fine. Actually, can I move you down a little bit? I cannot. You know what? You're staying there. It's all crooked. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Let's go. Make me money. I need to go buy hot dogs. What do you need? Vending machine? Granola bar? Okay. Yeah. Okay, hold on to this for me. I need $50. Hopefully the hot dogs will make enough money. There we go. We're gonna go pass with some flyers. I believe in you, Fountain. Hey, Tommy. Okay, here we go. Hey. Come on. Hey, come on. All right. Things are looking nice. Things are working out decently. Nobody wants any hot dogs yet. What are you doing here? Hey. Get down. They're happy. Look at this. We're doing great. Everyone's so happy. Yes. Can I build a toilet yet? Oh, thank God. Okay, good. Toilet. It's fine. Oh, sorry, Pink. You'll be fine. I believe in you. Okay. Excuse me. Hold on to these. Hey, can you hold on to these? Thank you. Is that cake? Why do you have cake? All right. Woo. There we go. Anybody trying to buy hot dogs yet? No, nothing. Perfect. Okay, now I can build showers. Showers. This is probably a tripping hazard, actually, because I'm putting water right by, you know, the eating area, but hey, this will work. Okay. Next, I need a janitor, honestly. Okay, everything's going well. Everything's going really well. Ah, graffiti. Big tasty. That's fair. Okay. Okay, and it looks like I am able to keep them in high traffic areas. And they are leaving the spaces. And because the chair's over here where all the water pools, it makes it easier for me to handle the water. Hey, look at that! I did it! I'm doing great. Oh, guess wait too long for you didn't tell me you were off! Okay, what do you want? Who's here? All right. Oh, Moreau, you not doing okay, Ramo? I hope you... Oh, I got hit by a semi-truck. What? Oh, there's trash everywhere. Okay, well... There you go. Why is Naptime panicking? Naptime, what are you doing? Naptime, why are you panicking? Ow, my legs! There you go. I love graffiti so much. All right. Toilets are fine. That toilet is in use or back? No, it's in use. Okay. Okay. I threw up. There we go. Thank you for the lurks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that this is going so well, actually. It's going amazing. Ow! Wait, why is there poop? I did do good. I did so good. Oh, they're upset that I wasn't selling hot dogs. Okay, well, I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. Trash. That is not how you use that, Onyx. That neck went all the way around. That was terrifying, Nugget. You have so many wives? That's not legal. Stop drowning! Homie! I said stop drowning! No way. They can't get past the trash. They can't get past the trash. What? There's a car inside of this car. There's a car inside of the... Okay. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you. I'm so glad I broke it. Oh, I'm so happy. They're mating. They're mating. Y'all stop. Y'all be tripping. Y'all be tripping. Stop it. We might need. Okay, I might need to do this. We're gonna move these backwards. I gotta move this, sorry. Can you get off of this one? Thank you. Anyways. Yeah, you can't get hit by a car. There we go. See, that's a little bit better. Does mean I'm gonna have to paint out the white a little bit further. It is what it is. Oh! Honey, there's no hot dogs at that stand. Why would you sit at the one stand that has no hot... Oh, shoot, chat. It's 6. Lovelies, lovelies, lovelies. I'm gonna have to end stream because we're gonna be doing another stream in 2 hours. So... I need to have some in-between time. Y'all good with that? So I think I might end stream, not send anybody off, and just that guy's being evil. We're not gonna raid this time. I'll just end the stream here. Let's hang out for a little bit. Are you dead? Why are you sleeping in my toilet? No, we're not gonna raid because we're gonna be back in like 2 hours. Why are you drowning? Oh my, y'all are so much work. What the heck? Uh, 8 p.m. MST. Y'all don't have to make it. I mean, I totally get it. I just wanted to do a collab with this person. They're very cool. I wanted to see like what they do and if we vibe. So we're just gonna be playing some Untitled Goose Game. It's more of me getting to get to know this person versus, whatever. Anyways, lovelies. Okay, I'm gonna save game. We're gonna leave it here. Right when an ad hits. We're not gonna be raiding out. I'm just gonna be ending stream. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna go lay down. Y'all be good. I'll see y'all later. Thank you all for being here. I've really, 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 really appreciate you all. Thank you all so very much. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Oh, technically I owe you all a little bit of a story, don't I? Because I said I'd start reading stories at the end of streams, right? So let's see what we have. Oh, we're reading the one from yesterday, weren't we? All right, give me a second while I do this. Okay, where was it? Did I download it? I did not download it. Okay. Let me go check my Gmail. Here we go. Pages from Pizza. We did chapter 1 last time, so let's do chapter 2 real quick. Bedfellows. You ready? This is the story that the crow brought. Bedfellows. Andrew left his office job shortly after he and his girlfriend, Catherine, broke up. Due to the unusual situation of the relationship, Andrew needed to take on night shifts in order to keep his and his ex's lives respectfully separate. Andrew wanted to stay close to his friends and family in the Bay Area, but his job options were limited. Most were security guard positions, which frightened poor Andrew, who had experienced a home invasion firsthand when he was a young boy. Criminals, specifically burglars, terrified him ever since. This left Andrew with a handful of delivery driver openings to choose from. He went with the most interesting among them, Nightcap. They delivered gourmet cappuccinos after dark. Andrew wouldn't have to act as a barista, just the driver, which was great because he had a license to drive and terrible culinary sense. If there's more than 2 ingredients involved, Andrew just can't get it to taste right. One of the many reasons his ex found their short time cohabiting to be a frustratingly one-sided experience. The first week of his late shift was rough, especially the transition between sleep schedules. Andrew kept awake by stealing a few sips from some customers' beverages. Excuse me. Imagine. Sorry. That one required a small sip, only required a small sip to get the buzz. The majority of Andrew's deliveries were to areas surrounding Stanford and Berkeley. A lot of researchers and startups pulled all-nighters analyzing their data and needed to stay sharp to avoid nodding off from exhaustion. Unsurprisingly, these clever minds were hard to fool. Some became wise to the slightly diminished levels in their cups. There's only 18.5 ounces. There's usually 20, griped a particularly observant scientist with an eye for minute differences. He measured the size of atoms for a living. Despite his dreary state, Andrew was quick with a good excuse. That's just so there's room for cream and sugar. Well then, droned the scientist. Go ahead. Go ahead what? Shrugged Andrew. Add in cream and sugar for me, demanded the scientist. Andrew gulped. Cream and sugar, plus coffee. That's 3 ingredients. 1 ingredient over his skill cap. He tried his best, but alas managed to screw up even such a rudimentary recipe. What the hell did you do? Sniped the professor. Now it tastes like burnt pistachios. Luckily, this professor only asked for a refund instead of placing a direct complaint to Andrew's boss. After the ordeal, Andrew decided no more free drinks, considering his sleep cycle should have been conditioned by now. He worried something else may have been keeping him down during a shift. The obvious culprit, his recent breakup. Andrew decided to use his newly acquired health insurance to visit a therapist. Dr. A-Z-I-K-I-W-E. Ozzy Kiwi? Ozzy Kiwi. The doctor agreed Andrew's low energy wasn't just sleep-related. He seemed to be suffering from depression. Dr. Ozzy Kiwi prescribed him a mood stabilizer. These should keep you from getting too low, explained the doctor. Just take 2 of these at night and you'll be all set. As Andrew was a new patient, the doctor was unaware that his job was at night. Had the doctor known, he would have instructed Andrew more specifically and more properly to take 2 before bed. Andrew followed his misinformation to a T and ended up swallowing his medicine minutes before picking up his first order. It was 3 flat whites and a long black, ordered to a marine conservatory in Moss Beach. The delivery was only a 20-minute drive from the kitchen in Daly City, as long as Andrew took the Pacific Coast Highway, a scenic stretch of road elevated just over the coast. Many mood stabilizers are antipsychotics that induce a calming effect following the initial consumption. This effect can be noticeably dizzying, and its duration varies from person to person, but despite the low dose prescribed to Andrew, he seemed to be significantly more affected than the usual patient. As he traversed the winding cliffs beside the ocean, his delivery began to spritz all over the car's center console. Pulling at the bottom of the cup holders. Andrew's turns became more erratic and fidgety as he swerved all over the road, splashing the beverage from side to side. Andrew's meds were causing him to black out. There weren't many drivers on the road after midnight, but luckily, a security guard on his way back to work was only a few meters behind Andrew. He witnessed Andrew's sedan lose control completely and crash into the shoulder of the road. It smashed right through the guardrail and hurtled over the side, twisting violently as it rolled down the cliffsides towards the beach below. The security guard stopped his car alongside the road and put on his blinkers. He tried his best to descend the steep cliffs beside the road, heroically darting towards the wreckage of Andrew's car. When he finally reached the crumpled mess of steel, it was flipped over on its head. He saw a dark puddle spilling from the cracked front side window. Thank you for the follow, Sylvie Bay. Welcome. The security guard stooped down and looked inside, expecting to see the driver's head split open and bleeding. But instead, there was no driver. Only 5 cups of coffee spilled on the overturned roof of the interior. Andrew's body was fortunately teleported far away from the accident as soon as he'd lost full consciousness. At that moment, he was transported to a bedroom in Redwood City, long before his car ever impacted the guardrail. What? Andrew's pills had knocked him out cold, so much so he could have slept another 4 or 5 hours if undisturbed. But the bedroom Andrew was in is not part of his dingy junior one in San Bruno. There were no crumbs on his back, and the mattress was on top of an actual bed frame instead of lying directly on the floor a foot from the nearest television. The pillows had covers, and there were multiple blankets and even sheets. These were not the conditions Andrew had grown accustomed to. These were the comfortable arrangements of his former relationship. Andrew was sleeping beside his ex yet again, returned magically to the apartment they used to share months ago. Neither of them were aware they were bedfellows again. While Andrew slipped under the spell of his medicine, Catherine was passed out from pure exhaustion. She'd been drawing for hours. It is a gambling machine. I like my gambling machine. Sorry, where were we? Yes. When inspiration hits, Catherine could be up for 3 days straight preparing a final draft. This workaholic lifestyle was one of many reasons Andrew couldn't stand their brief time living together. There was never enough us time. While Catherine was exhausted, she had always been a light sleeper, as opposed to Andrew, who, drugged or not, sleeps like a rock. So when Andrew's boss began calling for Andrew's whereabouts and the whereabouts of the customer's order, the constant buzzing woke Catherine up from her deep slumber. Immediately, she knew what happened. Andrew must have disregarded their careful arrangement and fell asleep at the same time as her. The arrangement was important, as Catherine and Andrew were cursed. They have been for quite some time. What? Anyways, guess what? That's what we're going to call it. 4 pages, a little bit of reading. But apparently they're cursed. And I'm not going to tell you what the curse is. Where'd this curse come from? Who knows? I feel like this is a variation of a story I've heard before. And I feel like it might be jumping too quickly into this. But I've heard of a story similar to this before. It's one of those things of like, they keep reappearing by each other. Okay, lovelies. I will be back in about 2 hours. I will see you all later. For now, we're just going to end stream. And we'll bring you back later, okay? Goodbye, lovelies. Thank you all for hanging out. And for all you lovely new people, I really appreciate meeting you. Mwah.